Hi everyone, my name is Jo Otremba. I use they them pronouns and I'm a current Master's of Library Science student studying Archives and Records Management at the Indiana University Bloomington campus in the United States. And I'm also a graduate archives assistant at the Indiana University Archives. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a bit about my research on archival dead name policies and the evaluations that I've done of specific repositories throughout the United States, specifically at colleges and universities, and their ability to, or lack thereof, talk about and include trans identities within their description practices, specifically about the use of dead names within their collections. So I got started doing this research when I was leading an instruction session for the Indiana University Archives, where I was talking with a class of undergraduate students about how sometimes it's difficult to do research on women because traditionally when a woman gets married, they change their name and their last name gets changed to the person that they got married to. And this often can create a kind of split history for this individual, one with their maiden name and one with their name when they after they got married. So what we were talking about is how this can create kind of an injustice for this woman, that they can have their histories represented in a repository, and then sometimes when doing research you completely hit a dead end and you need to find and sometimes you never do find some kind of clue to figure out their next name. And as a trans person who has run into this issue myself when doing research about women who have had a name change, I got to thinking about how name changes within the trans community and gender diverse community is represented within specific description practices for archives. And what I found was dead name policies. As it's rare to have dead name policies, I was really interested to see if I could find any within universities and colleges in their repositories. But the truth is I found 6 of them after searching 74 different archives, libraries, or special collections. I found 6 universities that specifically stated the issue of dead names within archives and library description. And in order for me to consider it a dead name policy, it had to include the idea of a name change specifically tied to gender identity as compared to a preferred name or nickname. A lot of the 74 repositories that I did work on I found statements about harmful language in terms of homophobic content or transphobic content, as well as other diverse identities, but it didn't actually have any kind of actionable step towards addressing dead names. So that's where the only 6 that did are represented in this poster today. So I listed the 6 different universities that had some kind of policy, specifically where I found them online, and then most importantly, what kind of actionable item any member from the public can do if they do run into harmful dead names within a collection, or something that should be corrected, or even just to question and ask if they can do more research about a person and their potential trans or gender diverse identity in terms of dead naming. A lot of that just looks like usually either just emailing the person directly, or providing an email that a person can go to, or creating like a feedback form or report a problem form. After searching these 6 dead name policies extensively, I kind of created what I called an anatomy of a dead name policy. And what it is a simple 4-step kind of ideal standard for how a person can adopt a dead name policy within their repository. A lot of it is just acknowledging that there is an issue in terms of historical dead naming and how to show like what a dead name would look like and how to use that language to correct that within their own repository, even if gender identity is not a topic that they're necessarily heavily studied on. They can still do action to make sure that gender diverse identities are represented within archives and that other individuals can search and find gender diverse history within their repository. And finally, I make sure that the line of communication is very much specific in terms of best practices. Archival description specifically for queer and trans people should be a continuous conversation from the archivist to the public to make sure that terminology and words are respected, not necessarily erasing past of what terminology has been throughout history, but making sure that what we use in current day is something that people see as a positive experience when searching a library or archives. And then finally, I give kind of like a so what now what kind of overview of dead name policies. Personally, I've stated before that when trying to search for trans identities within history, I've come into a lot of trouble in just being able to find and identify trans identities within spaces, even though I know that they're there. It's very obvious to see gender diversity, but then to find individuals is kind of a challenge, and it's also kind of a danger. So to make sure that this is respected and a very criticized practice is very important. And I think that more attention should definitely be paid towards dead name policies within archives and libraries across the United States and internationally. So that is an overview of my poster and the research that I've done. I will be at the Moving Trans History Forward conference later this month. My email is provided at the top of the poster. Please reach out if you have questions or inquiries about the research that I've done. I've also not included any citations or bibliographies on this poster just because of space, but I'd happily provide them. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to talk to you soon about this research. Thank you so much. Bye.